everyone. It's so good to have you today. And we just welcome our special guest, Jamie Naylor. And we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to kind of continue on from last month when we were talking about how that substance use disorders affects each and every person in the family. It's not just the person that is suffering, but it's children, parents, husband, wife, sisters, brothers. It affects everyone, grandparents. We had been talking that so many of our grandparents in today's society, they're raising their grandchildren due to their parents having the substance use disorder. So we're going to talk more about that. But before we do, we're going to let everyone know about all the meetings that are in town. There's a meeting every night of the week now. And now we have the cafe open on Central Avenue. What is that, 7th? I think that's 7th and Central. I believe it is, on the corner of 7th and Central. Charmin is doing a great job on the Connection Cafe. And then on Monday night, there's Better Days. It's a faith-based group right beside the Connection Cafe. Everyone is welcome. And then on Tuesday evenings, they have Brianna's Hope over at Cross Point Biker Church. On Wednesday evening, we are so happy to announce that we have Celebrate Recovery, and that goes on at Growing Branches for Christ. That starts at 5:30. They have snacks, and then at 6 the meeting starts. So everyone is welcome to that. And Thursday evenings, and on Wednesday nights also, there is a AA over on McCann Street in the church there. And then on Thursday evening, there is at AA, and Friday evenings there's NA, and Friday night and Saturday night the Connection Cafe is open. And on Saturday morning, Pastor Frank has Brianna's Hope, and you can join that by Zoom, and I believe they may be doing it live now.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure they are. And then on Sunday evening at St. Gabriel's at the Parish House, they have an AA at 7 o'clock. So there's something going on every night of the week, and we just want to let everyone know that as long as there's breath in your body, there's hope. And we don't want you to be discouraged. We want you to be encouraged that there's a lot going on in Connersville. I talk to different people across the state, and for Connersville to be so small, we have a great recovery community. So if there's something going on that you need help with, reach out and call someone. Call the Connection Cafe. You're welcome to call the House of Ruth at any time. Anything in any of the groups that I have mentioned, you can call the churches that they're at, and they will put you in contact with someone that can help you. But we're really excited that we do have so much going on in our community. We have drug court. There's just so much that can help, and that we're offering help to so many individuals. There's family support groups, and that's actually what we're going to talk about today with Jamie. There is family support groups. There is so whenever you think that there's nothing happening, always know that just reach out to someone for that extra support, and we would be glad to help you out. But without further ado, I want to introduce Jamie Naylor, and she is firsthand can talk to you about the hurts of substance use disorders, and she has actually started a would you call it a family support group?
It's for anyone.
It's for anyone that wants to come. It's called Renew Your Spirit. And we are going to talk with Jamie, and we're going to find out exactly, we're kind of going to go through her story, and then we're going to talk to you about that support group that is now available in Connersville. So, Jamie, it's so good to have you here today.
Nice to be here.
It is great. You do a lot in the community, you and your husband, and just tell us a little bit about your journey. What has brought you to start this group, and just let us have a little insight.
Okay. Well, we lost Justin 5 years ago, October 5th of this year. It was just a challenge for 10 years for our family. Both of us worked in the medical field. We knew, but we didn't know.
Right.
It was one of those things that you didn't talk about. You know, we saw it at work all the time, especially Gary and his line of work, but we just kind of pushed it under the rug. We didn't want to talk about it. You know, we'll just try to get him help here, try to get him help there. And then if there wasn't as much support in this town
Right.
as there is now. And I'm so thankful that there is that support going on now. But Justin has a daughter. She's 14 years old that he left behind for her mom to raise, and for us to, you know, we do what we can when, you know, when she needs. But it was a struggle for the whole family. People a lot of times think it's just the person that is going through it, you know. Well, they got themselves into it, they can get themselves out. Well, they can't.
It's not that easy.
It is not that easy,
No.
and it's not that easy for the family either. And, you know, I watched my in-laws, my mother and Bella, you know, his daughter, and his brothers especially. You know, that really took a toll on all of us. But when I look around and see, you know, it really took a toll on Bella, of course. But his brothers, I think that's what it really hit them the most.
Yeah.
And
you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, people, you know, like you said, you know, they're like, well, he needs to just stop, or he needs to, you know, no matter what, it's still your son. It's still her father.
That's right.
It's still their brother. And you love them. These are people that we love,
Exactly.
people that we want to help, you know, and 5 years ago, there wasn't a lot of support here.
There was not.
You know, and thank God that people are finally realizing, you know, hey, we do have a problem here. We need to, you know.
And I think that people are realizing too, just like us, you know, like I said, we kind of shoved it under the rug, but I think people are now realizing that it's all walks of life.
Yes.
It does
Yes,
not
it
matter
is.
who you are. Someone out there is worse off than you are.
Yeah.
And now that we have that help, you know, that's mine and Gary's goal, is to try to get as much help as we can to whomever we can.
Absolutely.
You were talking about being able to call anyone through over at Brianna's Hope. My brother, Joel, he does have cards made up for women and men that has phone numbers on it. You know, mine and Gary's phone numbers are on there for anybody that needs, you know, if they need help, if they're struggling, call us, talk to us. You know, we may not have the answers, but we're there to listen.
And, you know, if you don't have the answer, you may know someone that does.
Exactly.
So just because, and I was telling someone yesterday, I was in a training and they were talking, you know, because I don't know everything, but I can sure try to lead you to someone that does. So even though you don't, and I forgot about those cards, that is, we need to get more advertisement on those, you know, so people know to go get them. Yeah.
Right. And they do a great job over there.
Yes, they do.
And Charmin, she's doing an awesome job
Yes,
too.
she
And you
is.
know, if it hadn't been for my brother and Charmin, to be quite honest, and you, Gary and I probably would not know what we know today.
Right.
We can't go back in time and change what happened. We just go from day to day and learn from that. But as you said, it does affect everybody.
Everybody.
It doesn't, you know, friends, family, everybody. And if it wouldn't have been for our family and our friends and the Lord above getting us through all of it, we'd probably still be really struggling. You know, we still struggle from day to day. Because it never goes away.
It never goes away. That hurt. I mean, and there's so many people, because through Celebrate Recovery, we've been doing that, taking the leadership classes for 6 months, and we just launched the actual Celebrate Recovery this past week, not last night, but this past week. And a lot of the groups they talk about is hurts, habits, and hang-ups. And it's like you said, everyone, they're hurt, there's habits they have, there's hang-ups. And now, today, we can talk about that stuff. We're used to, you like you said, you swept it under the rug.
Right.
It's like, well, my child won't do that. My child isn't going to be one of the statistics. My child is, he can overcome this or she can overcome this. And in essence, it takes everyone. It's a team effort. I can't do it by myself. You can't. Charmin can't. But and Joel, with everybody working together, together. I mean, we can make an army. We can, and the prayer, and the, just pleading out, asking God to help us, and He does. He gives us strength. That inner strength. I mean, just the loss that you went through. I mean, how can anyone, and the hurting people, the people that we've been talking about, and that's watching, and, there's so many hurting people, and now there's a place, there's people you can call, and, we're here for you.
Right.
We're trying to help you. We want to help you. It's not, because that hurt don't go away.
No.
That hurt, like you said, you live with that daily. Tell us a little bit about what you went through with Justin, if you don't mind to share.
No. It was one of those things we really didn't notice it right away. But it all started from when he had a root canal at the dentist. And I didn't know that till years later. And he just said, I liked how that made me feel.
And
then,
how old was he then?
He was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of led on to bigger things, and it led to oxys, and that was his drug of choice. And then it went to the fentanyl and the heroin, and that's what got him. But we took him to a facility in Louisville, and it probably wasn't the right time to do it, but Gary and I felt it was the right time. But for him, it was not the right time. And at that time, we didn't know,
Right.
He could tell me anything that he wanted to tell me, and yeah, I'm ready to go, Mom.
Right.
Well, he wasn't. He walked away 6 months later and lived on the streets down there for, I don't know, it was about 2 weeks. We didn't even know that he was gone until they called us and said that he walked away. And he met up with some gentleman, and he let Justin use his phone, and so he called home, and Gary went down and got him. It was just in and out. He would be clean for 3 months, and that 3 to 4 months was about all he could do. And he was right back at it again. And at that time, I didn't understand this process. I don't profess that I understand it now totally, but I do understand it a lot better than I did then, thanks to the programs that you've mentioned, and the meetings that Gary and I have gone to, and different things. But he was a good kid.
Absolutely.
He had a job. As soon as he got out of jail, he had a job the next day. And it wasn't, little piddly jobs. I mean, he made good money. And he would just always say, Mom, I can't get these demons out of my head. And, I didn't know what to do with that. And today, if somebody said that, I still wouldn't know what to do with that, to be honest. But it hurt us to see him struggle like that, and knowing I couldn't fix it. As a mom, we're fixers.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't fix it.
Yeah.
So anyway, he went back to jail. He was in prison. I forget how many months he was in there. And got out of jail and did really well until about May. And he overdosed again was back in jail, and then got out at the end of September, and it happened the next week that he overdosed and passed away.
And you said a profound statement. He was a good kid. Absolutely. I, with the women that I work with and the people that I've, helped, they're great people. They've just made some bad choices.
Exactly.
And some of the smartest people, the most intelligent, I mean, and social status doesn't matter, rich, poor,
Right.
young, old, educated, non-educated, it makes no difference. When addiction hits, it's like you said, those demons are strong. And it takes a lot of prayer and a lot of willpower and a lot, to overcome them, and a support system that is, and the support system is so important. And I think, and I'm so grateful. I'm like you said, I mean, there's so much more going on in town. And I've been doing this, it'd be 12 years in April. And I'm like you, there's some people, they want an answer. It's like, I can't give you that answer.
Right.
I can't tell you. I can give you resources. I can give you advice. I can pray with you. But I can't. There's some things we don't have answers to.
Right.
And we never will. People will say, why did they do this? I don't know.
Exactly.
And you hate to say that to people, but it's true. And I would rather be honest with someone and just say, listen, I don't know, but I tell you what, we're going to do everything in our power to help save them. And I'm a firm believer, leading them to Christ and changing their heart. We call it at the House of Ruth, retraining their brain, retraining the way they think, getting them out of, just what they do daily, getting them, people, places, and things are such a big part of it. But we're a small community. And I have women all the time, they're like, but when I go home, but, and I, this may be terrible, but I encourage some people, you may not be able to live here. You may have to, because they go to college, they get their GED, they get, whatever it is they need to get them where they need to be. And then, sometimes in your family, sometimes is the worst people you can be around. I've got people up there that's third generation in addiction, and it's
so sad.
And and one of the young ladies, it just breaks my heart. Her mom, is in addiction, and she wants to be a part of her life so much. The daughter does, and it's like, honey, you may never be able to be close like you want to be, but you can have a relationship, but it'll be from a distance. And but that's and it's like you said, it's so sad. It's just so sad because, and my children lost their father. And so I know you were talking about your granddaughter. It's the children, suffer so much also.
And I guess I didn't realize how much it had hit her until last year. We usually get together on Father's Day and stuff. And she said, no, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to stay with my mom because I don't have my dad. Yeah. And she said, everybody else there will have their dad. And it was like, that was a bold statement coming from she was 13 at the time. Yeah. And it was like, and then I guess there's been times at school people have made a comment, to her. And sometimes we just take for granted what we have and what we don't have. And, what she doesn't have, she's seeing that now the older she gets. And she's struggling with it a little bit more. And she can talk to me. She knows she can, and I'm thankful for that.
Absolutely.
And she's opened up a little bit, but it's taken her a little bit of time. Family, hold on to your family.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're your biggest support system most of the time.
Yes. Yes.
Not all the time, but I know if it wouldn't have been for mine and Gary's strong relationship and relationship with our parents, we would not have been able to get through all this either. And the friends. But,
Absolutely.
Anyway, but renew your spirit.
Yes. Yes. Renew your spirit.
That
yes.
was. I was struggling with coming up with a name for this. I had been asked a few times to do this support group, and it just was not the right time yet.
Well, I just want to say you're perfect for it.
Oh, well, thank you.
I do. When you told me that, I said, oh, yeah,
well,
this would be great.
I was sitting at work, and I was trying to come up with a name for it, and one of the girls, she just started writing all these words down with having to do with losing a loved one or struggles, or, and those were the 3 separate words that she had down there. And I just said, I think that's what we're going to call it. And she was so excited the other day when I told her there was 21 people there.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So anyway, I said, well, you got to be a part of that. And, she lives in Greenfield, she's excited. But it's just for people to come and share. Like I said before, I don't have all the answers to anything, but I do have, a set schedule of what we're going to talk about. We're meeting the 29th of this month. It's on a Monday evening at 7 at the cafe, and we're going to be talking about how to balance yourself in downtime.
Oh, good.
One of the young gals that was there, that was something she's struggling with. So it's been a challenge for me to come up with studying this and making up my own itinerary and everything with it. But it's been fun too, and of course the teacher always learns the most, I think.
I hear
and I'm learning a lot.
I hear you. So is it every Monday or is it?
It is not. Right now we're just doing once a month.
Okay.
Just trying to get it off the ground, see what the community needs. If we need to do more than once a month, then we'll figure that out. But with the holidays and everything, I didn't want to bombard people with another meeting or whatever. So we'll stick with one. It's usually going to be the last Monday of the month, but next month, I'm not sure what Christmas falls on, so we'll have to see.
So if it's on the 29th, that's perfect timing because that's right after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And lots of times holidays are
a struggle.
A big struggle for families, so that'd be perfect. So anyone that needs that added support, just remember that the 29th of November at the Connection Cafe, and what time is it?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. You're more than welcome to attend for that support for your family, and it's confidential, I'm sure.
It is.
Everything that happens, and I want you to know that when you're in there sharing, I know that Jamie would make sure that everyone knows that it's confidential, everything that is spoken there, and that's a big thing with people. And no matter what, just like she was saying, you haven't done things wrong the way you've raised your children. You haven't, people make choices, and like we were saying, they can be perfect children, great kids, straight A students, and still addiction can happen. So don't be ashamed. Come and be a part of this. This is a great opportunity for you to have that added support that you need. And like she was saying, you're going to have a subject matter for each, the agenda you're going to have. And if you come, sometimes people just need to talk.
Right. And they don't have to talk. I mean, there was just a handful that spoke, said anything the other night. But it doesn't have to be anyone with the death of a loved one or anything.
Right.
It may be they're going through what we went through right now. And it's like, how did you handle this? Or, and you don't have to speak up then. If you want to talk to us afterwards, that's fine.
Right.
That's no problem. But we do have a little motto, and it's okay to not be okay.
Yes.
And
that's a biggie.
I am going to, I've learned that. That's one thing that has helped me. Yeah, I might say, yeah, Sharon, I'm just fine. How are you
Oh,
today?
yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm not really.
Yeah.
And I made that comment the other night, and one of the guys spoke up, and he goes, I do that all the time. I'm telling people I'm okay. He said, I'm really lying to them. And, it's like, we all do it, So it is okay to not be okay
Yeah.
and talk about it and get it out there.
Absolutely. I have a thing at the house of Ruth whenever people say, I'm fine. And I'll just stop and I'll be like, okay, can you define fine for me, please?
Yes.
Because fine is not an answer. And they just
Yeah.
stop. They're like, oh, Miss Sharon.
You
I'm
caught
like,
me.
yeah. It's like, that is not what I'm asking you. I want to know
Right.
what you're feeling right now. And fine is not an answer. And that's really true. And we put on that facade, and I always we wear a mask, put that smile on and I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm good. And in essence, we're falling apart on the inside.
Exactly.
It could just, when we get in our cars, we just bawl like a baby.
Yeah.
It's like, and this support group, I really feel like it's going to do wonders. I really
hope so.
do.
If we help one person, that's, it succeeded as far as I'm
Absolutely.
concerned.
So do you have flyers, or do they call
no,
like
I
the
just-
Connection Cafe, or you're getting it out on Facebook?
It was on
or anything?
Facebook.
Okay, good.
I just put it out there and
Good.
just word of mouth, basically. So
Okay. Well, tell all your friends and tell your family. And I really feel like this has been such a needed component in everything that we're doing in the community. And this is going to be a big help because there's a lot of parents. I talk with them all the time.
Yes, you do.
It's like, what in the world, do I do? What did I do wrong? And I always try to comfort them. It's not. Now, some parents, I'm sure there's been things, but most of the time it's choices
It is.
of the individual themselves.
That's one thing, our pastor, he'd talk to us afterwards and everything, and it's not how, you raised them the best
Right.
that you knew
Yeah.
how. It's just, like you said, the choice that he made.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can't change those choices, and they have to want to change
Absolutely.
to make the better choices.
It's the individual. Yeah.
It is.
I know. I've told my children this before, because they'd say, well, you did this, or this is when they were younger. And I said, I raised you the best I could with what I knew at the time and under the circumstances that I was in.
Yes.
That's all we can do. And, parenting doesn't come with a book. It's step by step. If it did, wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yes, because every kid is different.
Every kid is different. That book could get threw out the window because my son and daughter are two totally separate. And it's like, well, there goes that. But absolutely. But we're just about out of time. If you had something to say to someone, what would you say to a parent struggling right now?
Talk about it.
Talk about it.
Because if you hold it in, it just kills you. It
Yeah.
really does. I didn't talk about it for a while. It was, goodness, it was right at 2 years, I think, when my brother had me come and speak at Brianna's Hope.
Yeah.
And that was the hardest thing that I ever did. But I finally did it, and after I talked about it, it was like a huge weight lifted off my shoulders.
yeah.
It was like if I would have just talked about it sooner,
Yeah.
even when we were going through it,
Yeah.
that weight wouldn't have been there, I don't think.
So just remember, because Jamie's been through it and she's given you a world of wisdom right there. Talk about it. Get a hold of her, get a hold of the Connection Cafe, join them on Renew Your Spirit. And we thank you for joining us today. God bless you and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.